Welcome to Life List, a birding podcast. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Life List, a birding podcast. I am Molly Brown, and I am here with Alvaro Jaramillo. Alvaro, how are you doing today?
Hi, how are you doing, Molly?
I am doing great. It's busy, and busy is good. And,
Bird busy or
and
work busy?
both busy, actually. A little bit of bird work busy. Um, it's just one of those weeks. I've got tour planning. I've got Nighthawk projects. One of my good friends here in town actually started a maps banding station this year, and this morning was the first day for that. So I went out and helped just net tending from the map station,
Cool.
and yeah, that was great. It's going to be a fun site. All
Yeah.
the busies. Everything's bird related for me anyway.
Yeah. Life
But
becomes work is birds. Birds are work. Birds are life. Life is birds.
pretty much it's all just a jumble of that. Yeah. Uh-huh. I think our guest today is maybe in the same boat. We are joined by Melissa Hafting. And Melissa is well known for founding the British Columbia Young Birders program that aims to bring together youth of all ages, sexual orientations, and genders to look at birds on fun excursions into the natural world. The program also helps teach youth about citizen science and the importance of conservation of birds and their habitats. Melissa is a biologist, a bird guide, an author, and a photographer. She's a judge for the 2023 Audubon Photography Awards and loves to travel the world looking at birds. She's passionate about making birding more inclusive for all, especially for BIPOC birders like herself. Melissa, we are so happy to have you here.
Thank you so much, Molly. Nice to see you and Alvaro.
Yeah. Hi, how you doing?
Doing well, thank you.
Actually connecting and getting to chat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really good.
Yeah. And it's always good to have Canadian content too.
Oh, yeah.
I'm always trying to get Canadian content.
That's good.
Yeah.
I think you do a pretty good job of that.
Oh, yeah.
We have a strong Canadian presence.
That's right.
If I can speak on behalf of the Canadians.
Yeah. Yeah. I know to counteract all that Philadelphia presence that George brings in.
It's a constant balance. Melissa, you wear so many hats. What are you up to these days?
Well, yeah, I run the BC Rare Bird Alert, which is a website that lists all the rare birds in the province. And like you said, I founded the BC Young Birders program. So I'm really passionate about working with youth and mentoring them and getting them out in nature. I'm always, traveling and looking at birds and chasing rare birds around the province. So, and I'm also, like you said, passionate about making birding more inclusive for people of color as well, and those in the LGBTQ plus community.
Yeah, and you also organize pelagics?
I did. Yeah, I did that for many years. In BC, I love to do pelagics and have seen some great pelagic birds out of Tofino, BC.
Yeah. No, that was actually my first West Coast pelagic was from there.
Oh,
believe it or not. Yeah.
Yeah, we've seen some good things out of there, like Guadalupe murrelet, Scripps murrelet, short-tailed albatross, lots of good things. Manx shearwaters, but yeah, seeing the Guadalupe murrelet was pretty special. Parakeet auklets,
Oh, wow.
Laysan albatross. It's been really good over the years.
Yeah, that's enviable. I know that, it's probably weather is likely an issue there, or is it not really? It's actually better than expected.
No, it's a really big issue there because the
Okay.
weather is so poor. It's really hard to get out there, and
Yeah.
so a lot of our trips get canceled.
Yeah, it's too bad.
Especially when you try to go out of Port Hardy to Triangle Island, like those boats rarely make it out, but we have got out there and I've seen horned puffins, and so it's pretty good. But Tofino gets canceled a lot. They have a low threshold for cancellations because they get really poor weather out there.
Oh, wow. Oh, well.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's the only place we have to do it. And then of course Westport in Washington, they have it really excellent with, really dedicated. They don't have to just charter a boat. They have their own company that runs it. And yeah, they're
Mm.
great down there too at Westport.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. These are all new pelagic locations for me.
Yeah.
Are those still running then? Are you helping
Yeah,
with
they're
them
still
still?
running. They're just I haven't run them for this summer, but they are still running, yep, through the Whale Center.
Well,
Oh,
I
cool.
was just looking at your schedule. You've got all sorts of things planned
Yes.
otherwise. That's really cool.
Seems like Melissa does not get bored. She she's always doing something.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
love birds like you guys always. And it's always neat to see all the new vagrants that are coming out here. And we just had a temming stint just recently in Victoria, which was a mega,
Yeah.
and we had an oriental turtle dove before that. So it's been pretty good this spring here.
Yeah, no, that's really that. Yeah, we were talking on the last podcast. I don't know when that one's gonna come out, but that Temming stint, the photographs too are beautiful. So
Oh
it's great.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was in this place called Panama Flats where you can get close to it, and was within like 5 meters of people. So it was amazing. I've only seen them in Thailand before, so it was pretty special.
And one thing we're also going to talk about too is you have a book coming out soon called Dare to Bird. When is the book actually officially coming out, or is it out
It's
already?
no, it's coming out June 18th.
Ah,
So
okay.
that's exciting.
All right. That's cool. And it'll be available, I guess, in Canada and the US, right?
Yeah, and even around the world, like in Europe as well. So
Oh, cool.
yeah, so it's exciting, and it's a book that talks about how birds can bring joy and healing to our lives. I lost both my parents, and I talk about how birds have helped me with grief. I also talk about um, the joy that birds bring and why it's important to conserve and protect them, and why I feel it's important to mentor youth because they're the people that are going to grow up to protect these birds when we're gone. So it's important to get them an invested interest in it, in protecting birds. Also, I talk about my struggles as a black birder and the things that I've gone through, some of the racism and sexism, and why I feel really passionate about making birding more inclusive for people like me, because it wasn't easy when I got into it when I was much
Yeah.
younger. And things are changing now, but they still need a lot more to change.
Yeah. What I mean, I lived in Vancouver for a couple of years, and what is the birding community like there now? Is it a really sort of happening kind of lots of stuff going on, or not as much? Um, I'm so out of touch with BC at this point. Fill us
No,
in.
yeah,
Yeah, please.
BC and Vancouver is a very happening birding community. Everyone's really connected and really loves to go out and look at birds and help each other. So I think it's a good community in BC. We're really a lot of passionate birders, and it's getting more diverse because when I first started, it was mostly just white male dominated, and now we're seeing more women and people of color, and they're having, acknowledging that there's been problems in the community with that, and having more walks. Like I lead a lot of walks for BIPOC and LGBTQ plus people, and it's just making people feel more included. People are telling me that when they come on these walks, it's the first time they feel safe and included. So they're really necessary. And I really feel like I'm really happy to see all these different people coming out and birding in BC. It's really, really nice to see.
Oh yeah, that's good work you're doing. Good
Yeah.
work you're doing.
Thank you.
Molly, I wanted to ask you, since you've been a woman in birding for a long time, what's your thought about sort of your growth through birding and sexism and things have you encountered as you've gotten to this point?
You know, that's actually something that's been on my mind a lot recently. I, of course, have the stories that I think every woman has of just assuming that I'm not interested in birds if I'm walking around. A lot of times I'm birding with my partner Jimmy, and he's spoken to before me, that kind of thing. Particularly if I'm carrying a camera,
Hmm.
I think that I get pigeonholed into just being sort of a generalist photographer, and I not caring about birds as much. So that stuff happens. What has really been apparent for me more recently, is as I've gotten into bird guiding more, it's felt a lot more apparent to me.
Hmm.
And honestly, this is something that I've been wrestling with a bit, just kind of, uh, d boy.
Yeah, it's tough issues to sometimes like
Mhm.
put when you feel uncomfortable, and sometimes it's not clear exactly what, you know what I mean? It's just,
Mhm.
Yeah.
yeah.
Typically, my work is in the background that I do as well. I do a lot of computer work and a lot of business assistance and that kind of thing. And I think I've maybe got fairly comfortable in that position. So being more at the forefront as a guide and kind of directing a group and also really wanting to create a like a collaborative mentality is tough to difficult to balance with um I don't know, just having that assertion. It's all
Yeah.
little things. This is what I've been thinking. It's not like there's
Yeah.
like one big instance that pops up and it's a uh an issue for me, but
Yeah.
I'm young and I'm female and I'm often the youngest person and not usually the only female, but often the youngest person in the group and sort of in a leadership role within it. And that's
Right.
been really hard. Melissa, I would love to hear if you've had similar experiences and maybe you can help me put more words to this.
Oh yeah, Molly, I felt the same way. I'm also a bird guide for Avocet tours, and I have had the same thing where if I'm birding with a man, they always talk to the man first and things like that. You're not taken as seriously. It takes a long time to get people to respect you. I had to work much harder
Yeah.
than my male counterparts in the birding world to get respect and taken seriously, especially when I first started. Some people didn't even want to say hi to me, said I didn't look like a birder, all these things like that. And again, like if I'm looking at a rare shorebird or something, um, sometimes they'll assume that the partner beside me is the one who found it, and
Right.
it's actually me.
Right.
This happened with like a curlew sandpiper I found, for instance. But just it's a bit demoralizing how people um, sometimes don't take women as seriously in birding, and we have to definitely work harder. And I've also got, sexist comments and sexual comments, things to my email, things that are just really, inappropriate,
Right.
and you just get treated a little
Yeah.
different. And yeah, I'm also younger, and I'm very much out in the community because I'm running the rare bird alert and trying to do my best. But yeah, I definitely encountered it. Things are better now that I'm older and more well known, but it definitely was extremely hard, especially when I first started. But I still experience it to this day.
You know, it's not even just when you're out looking at birds. I feel like these situations that really stand out to me in these positions are when I'm doing something like logistics oriented. Or say I'm walking into a restaurant with a group of folks and I'm getting things situated. Like the wait staff might not
Right.
listen to me on behalf of the group. Or if we're, I don't know, driving somewhere and I say, let's go down this road, it takes a bit of an argument, I guess, to make it happen. Those kinds of things, yeah, they've honestly caught me off guard a bit, and it's something I've reflected on a lot recently. I just have to kind of, I feel like, change my presence a bit to come in with a bit more of an assertive attitude to make those things happen.
But we shouldn't really have to. We should be respected for just our skill in being birders, no matter what our sex is. And
Yeah.
it's it's unfortunate that that's something that women still have to deal with
Yeah.
in all
Nope.
aspects of society, really.
Oh yeah. This is not just birding.
Hmm.
I wanted to say something, I'm a big, tall guy, and I walk around the woods right now without much concern other than, a mountain lion jumping on me or something. But I started birding when I was a kid, and I remember fear a lot, like where I would be in the woods somewhere and I would hear somebody and I would hide so
Hmm.
nobody would see me. Partially, if not fear of just fear, whether it's another kid and they're going to beat you up, or an adult who's going to whatever, I mean, it just, I've thought about the fact that I don't bird with fear anymore, but I used to. And I really, um, think about that when I talk to women who are birders, because I can imagine that for a woman, you basically have that potentially that fear all the time when you're out birding. Is that sort of your experience to some extent?
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially being a black birder and a black woman, you're always afraid when you're outside, especially alone in the woods. And as I told you, I got these emails, especially when I first was getting more prominent in the community, that were rape threats, death threats. Um, and I had to go to the police about them, and terribly racist emails. So I didn't feel safe going out in the woods alone, and I would have to take usually a male birder with me that was a friend. And yeah, I think a lot of black birders go through this, no matter what their gender is, but um, having that extra, the death threats and rape threats were something that made it even more scary for me, getting those by email. So yeah, it's something that we're constantly, I think I've written blog posts about this, teaching women how to take self-defense courses, things they should bring with them when they're out birding alone in the woods, and being just hyper vigilant and looking around, being aware of your surroundings, not putting headphones in, things like that. So I'm always very aware of my surroundings.
And I noticed, like in your book too, that you bird with a dog, which is also another another good
I
thing
do.
to do sometimes.
Oh yeah,
For you
Yeah,
especially
never
good
feel
point.
alone when you have a dog,
yeah, especially when I'm in the woods and stuff. And yeah, I have a dog. I got my dog after my mom died, and he's just been really a great thing companion to have. And I trained him so that he doesn't chase birds. I've always had dogs, but
Right?
um, yeah, it's just been a real comfort to me, and it's good when you're birding alone, especially in places where it's appropriate to bring dogs, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I find a lot of
Yeah.
good birds with my dog.
Yeah, me
Dogs, I
too.
have
I wish I
Have you
could
thought
keep an
about
eBird list for my
I was
dog.
gonna
Like
say,
dog
have you thought
I
about a
whisperer.
was
life list for your dog?
yeah, like I always write in the comments with my dog. Like my dog's name's Pippet, so I always put like
Oh,
with Pippet.
Oh.
And I thought about like making an eBird account, but I thought maybe I should email Marshall and see if that's even allowed. If you could do
it's
that,
you'd be breaking the rules.
I know. I mean, it would only be things that I saw with the dog. But anyways, I thought that could be cute.
Well, you say your
Yeah.
dog's name is Pippet, then I'm thinking like when it's wagging its tail, it's a wagtail too.
Yes. Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah,
I
I also take my dog with me a good bit. It's my dog's almost 10 years old.
Oh, nice.
Um yeah, so he's slowed down a little bit. It used to be a combination of, exercise for him and
Yeah.
extra companion for me. But yeah, even safety issues aside, I am stunned over and over again of what some typically men just that they are able to walk off the trail so confidently or bird
Yeah.
along a road so confidently that gives me pause. And it it's frustrating, but it's more I just feel astounded by it just repeatedly. That's the thing that I see. Maybe not
Not.
the constant fear is not something that I would say I personally feel a lot in the locations that I typically bird, but just being so aware of going over and beyond respectfulness and not crossing any lines in any way.
mhm.
Yeah.
And that is not the case for everyone. And it's not that the other folks are doing anything wrong. They're just more bold about doing it.
Yeah. But I
Yeah.
mean, you could get sexually assaulted in the woods if you never know. Like there's been lots of cases in Burnaby Lake around here where I put a notice out to birders to let them know that like a woman was sexually assaulted in a very big birding area. Burnaby Lake here is a huge birding area, and that's happened a few times. And so definitely women have to look out extra for things like this. It's not that you should go around just being in perpetual fear everywhere, but you should be
Mm-hmm.
definitely more vigilant. And of course, like you said, like some men can do it, but there's a lot of black men that can't just step off and go anywhere. Because there's an extra level of scrutiny put on them and suspiciousness, and that
Yeah.
they're a threat. So it's not so easy, especially for people of color out there in the woods, especially.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I got a question about your book.
sure.
Are all the photographs, did you take all those photographs?
Yeah, they're all mine.
They're
They're
all
all
your
mine.
photographs. Because I was like
Yes.
kind of looking through
I
and
was
I was
looking
like
for
trying to,
credits too.
yeah, we're
Yeah.
looking for credits. And the photographs are absolutely amazing. Like
Oh,
I'm
thank you.
looking at this book, I'm going like, I could just look at the pictures. It's
Oh,
just so
thank you.
good. It's such a beautiful book.
Oh, that means
Um,
a lot to
Yeah.
me.
no, I was like, wow. And Molly's a great photographer too. I got to say, she
Hmm.
took some beautiful photographs in
Thank you.
Cuba. So
Yeah.
suddenly I'm going to start whenever you ask me about goals, Melissa, I'm going to send you back a question about how to take a good photograph because I'm not a good photographer. Just sort of,
Yeah.
run of the mill
I
for
love
me.
taking pictures, and this is a coffee table book, which is showcasing my photos and also like
Hmm.
about like I said, all the things that I talked about how birds bring joy and stuff. But it's definitely a way to showcase the birds that to say thank you to the birds that have just enhanced my life and brought me so much joy and purpose. And really, the birds have kept me going. So that's why I wanted to put in my best photographs from North America and showcase those. So I'm really glad you like them.
Oh yeah, it's great. And the other thing, I was like looking at, reading the text too, I don't just look at the
Mhm.
pictures. That you captured something, well, really interesting to me because it's sort of like your little stories of your birding and your experiences, which is really, you know, cool. But you
Mhm.
also captured this weird aspect of birding that you sometimes want to be alone birding, and sometimes it's social. And
Mhm.
sometimes you're like twitch, you're out on a twitch, you're looking for a rare bird, it's all adrenaline. And sometimes it's just peace and contemplating, and that you sort of mix all of that in your birding. I thought was really cool because um I think it's sort of a new thing to really talk to people about all this other aspect of birding that isn't just the chasing birds and the rare birds and the bird
Yeah.
ID.
Mhm.
And it's the social aspects, it's the health aspects. And I thought you really did a good job of sort of showing somebody how birding kind of gives you all of these different things all in one beautiful activity.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I think that's the special thing about birding is that it can be for everyone and everyone's tastes and even somebody like me that really loves rare birds and chasing rare birds, I also love just being out in nature, looking at the common birds sitting by the beach, just taking it all in, listening to the bird sounds and watching the sanderlings and dunlin just doing murmurations. And
Mhm.
yeah, there's just so much that birding can give to someone. And it doesn't have to be all just chasing. There's a lot of just being out in nature, getting your you know,
Yeah.
just getting your nervous system down and relaxed and yeah, it really helps me with everything, a lot of things that I've gone through in life.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
exactly.
Mm.
I really enjoyed that format too. It's essentially a collection of essays, right? So you've got
Right.
these beautiful photos and then you've got these stories, and it just felt like such a a beautifully winding road, which feels a lot like going on a bird walk to me. I think that just as Alvarez said, you're talking about these very lighthearted, beautiful things, and then you're talking about these really exciting, science-driven, or listing heavy, or faster paced things, and then
Mhm.
you take on these really serious, difficult topics, and it's just a really cool compilation of all of that.
Well, thank you so much. And I hope
Yeah.
it gets people thinking about why these birds are worth protecting. That was really my ultimate goal because they give us so much to our lives, enhance our lives so much. We need to do step up and protect them, really.
Did
Yeah.
you write this all at once, or have you been working on these over a long period of time?
I started writing after my mother died, and then I wrote extra chapter after my father died because he wasn't supposed to, he died suddenly. So,
Mm,
um,
I see.
yeah, so it took me about, I guess, almost 2 years. Yeah.
Right.
Huh. Did you start with this sort of format in mind? I think it's so cool for a book.
I did, yeah. I had
That's
a
really cool.
clear vision about what I wanted for this book. Because I had a real struggle after my mother died, and I wanted to talk about how the birds have really helped me through that. And unfortunately, my father died, and I wish he had seen this book because he was really excited and really wanted to see it, really proud of me. So yeah, it's a bit bittersweet that he didn't live to see the book. He knew
Yeah.
about it at least.
Yeah. That's a great book. Like
Yeah, thank you.
really, really is. I mean, I'll say it again. The photos are amazing. I
Thank you.
love the photo.
Yeah.
Even things that, like the juvenile rough. I'm just sitting there going like, what a beautiful photograph of that juvenile rough. And it sort of hits your rare bird
Hmm.
thing. And
Mm-hmm.
it also hits just the beautiful aspect of the bird all in one photo. And then there's so many photos of the more common birds that are just done really well. Um,
Thank you.
I wanted to ask. I kind of know the answer to this question because I used to live in Vancouver, but it to me it's do Vancouver and Victoria, sort of the lower mainland birders, realize how good of a birding spot that is? Or, do people take it for granted in some respects, especially for Canada, right? Because it's
Yeah.
all sorts of cool things happen there.
No, I don't think they do. I think like the Victoria birders are really they know how good it is there. Like, for instance, Panama Flats, where there's been the Temming stint, that before that there was wood sandpiper, and they've had just tons of great stuff. And over in Boundary Bay, we get all the in Delta, we get all the rare shorebirds all the time. Like yesterday we just found three barwits, and there's always something great to be found there, like redneck stint, little stint, snowy plovers. Like I think people do know like how lucky we
Hmm.
are and how much great stuff we find here
Yeah,
on the West Coast. So I think it's yeah. And just in Washington, they had a great knot too. So I
right.
think, this is a
Coming
great
your way.
area. I hope so. We're looking.
I
And
was thinking the same, looking at the photos actually. I kept checking the location, which I love that these photos are all clearly woven into your personal experiences too. I think that
Hmm.
makes it really special. It's not just a beautiful bird, it's a bird with a story that corresponds with the book. But I
Yeah.
was surprised over and over again that these were birds that you were photographing close to home. That's so
Hmm.
cool.
Yeah, like most of the book is BC, but there's lots of birds from the States and uh,
Hawaii too, yeah.
Hawaii, Newfoundland. So
Yeah.
yeah, Arizona, things like that, Texas.
Hey, Molly, have you been to BC before, or
I have not. Nope.
Oh, wow, you
you got
should
to
have
go.
come.
Yeah, I know. That's what we were planning some sort of we talked about how we want to take like a week and go somewhere we haven't been this summer. And just in preparing for this podcast, my wheels have started turning toward how I need
Yeah.
to be there.
Have you been to Seattle at least?
I spent 4 days, flew into Portland and out of Seattle in late April a few years back. So it was really quick. It was a taste of really early spring migration out there,
Hmm.
and a bit of that Pacific Northwest feel. And I was driving around looking at birds. I wasn't
Mhm.
actually in the cities for any of that time, really. So one little blitz is all I've had.
Okay. Well, you have to
So
come back for sure then.
absolutely, I feel like I do.
I I remember, well, I was going to school. I didn't have a car. Sometimes I had access to a car in Vancouver, but you could go up the mountains like really easily,
Hmm.
and see mountain species, and
Yeah.
Canada jays and all this, right there, and kind of look over the city from above. Then you could go to these massive mud flats.
Yep.
And winter, like gerfalcons would show up, and there's always a rare bird around somewhere, and snow geese, and then and the swans, and then the biggest number of snowy owls I've ever seen in my life was at Boundary Bay.
Yeah.
22 snowy owls all kind of lined up in one place. And
Wow.
you're thinking like, to me, it was like, why isn't everybody up here every year coming, all the American birders coming up to go and look at all this stuff. And it is weird how the border is sort of a mental border for a lot of birders that
Sadly,
from the
yes.
US.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is sadly. Yeah, because and Alberta is an amazing place to go birding in the
Oh
summer.
yeah.
That's another. I'm like, everybody
Mhm.
should be here, and you see all these mammals. But you know, I do think you're lucky that you're living in a place where in a small, relatively small area, you can see so many different things and so many different habitats, you know.
Yeah, that's so true. Like yesterday, I was up doing a hawk watch on Mount Seabour and then came down and looked at Barwitz later on in the day. And unfortunately, those big scenes where you had like 20 to 30 snowy owls don't happen anymore here.
Yeah.
We're lucky if we get one. But yeah, that was magical. I remember that too when I was younger. But yeah,
Oh,
we're very lucky here for sure.
that's cool. No, yeah, you got to go, Molly, or you know, go up north.
Yeah, I believe it.
But yeah,
It doesn't take much to convince me.
it is true though that a lot of American birders don't like to come up here to chase the rarities, but like I'm always going down to Washington when they get good stuff, but they don't seem to want to come up
Yeah,
here as much. I don't know why.
yeah, and
Yeah.
It
you
has
know
to be
that.
like really mega, mega, mega to get them
Yeah,
up here.
I always thought that Point Roberts, yeah, Point Roberts is called, right?
Yeah.
That was like a potential for a real vagrant trap, but because it's Molly, like if you don't know this spot, you got to look, or everybody should look this up on a map. It's a
Mhm.
Yeah.
piece of Washington that is not connected to Washington. It's connected just to BC. So it's like a little point that sticks out. That's part of the
Right.
US
Yeah.
that is not, so a lot of Canadians used to go there and buy gas because it was
Yeah.
cheaper.
They still do.
They
They
still
still
do.
do. Yes.
But I thought it was such a great potential for birding, yet kind of very few people check it because the Washington birders, it's way too far for them. And
Yeah, they
then
don't come.
the BC
Do
birders
you?
are sort of like, oh, well, that's Washington. So
I know.
it doesn't count.
I'm there every week though, and
Really?
it's yeah, oh
Oh,
yeah, I love it
good
there.
spot.
And we've had a couple good things there, like curlew sandpiper and great-tailed grackle. But yeah, most BC birders, it's like the same thing is that they don't want to come there because it's Washington, and Washington it's too far for them. So because they have to
Yeah,
drive all through Canada to get
just to
there.
get there. It's such a weird thing
It
because
is.
it's right south of the parallel, right? So
Yep.
it just kind of got, lobbed off.
Huh.
So,
It's right on the tip of Tawasin.
yeah. No,
Yes.
it's the weirdest. People should look it up on a map if you don't,
Yeah.
if you don't believe me. It's such an oddball spot, but
They've had tufted duck. They've had a good lot of things there.
yeah, no, that's great. Um, the the other thing that I was going to ask you about, Paul Reese has got I didn't know about this. Is it like a show on TV about birding, Rare Bird
Um,
Alert, or
it
is
was a
it?
documentary on
It was a
CBC.
documentary.
Yeah,
Okay.
in 2020, and I was a lead character in it. He came and saw me and the young birders, and we did a big day. And yeah, it's you can find that online on CBC Gem or YouTube. But yeah, it was a 2020 documentary. It was great fun filming with him, and he filmed me and my young birders here in Vancouver, and then one of my young birders in Tofino. And yeah, he was great.
I got to look this up because I didn't even know it
Yeah.
existed. And usually
Oh,
I kind of it might be that's one of those things that's not available in the U.S. but you can get around these things, folks. You can
yeah,
get yourself one of those VPNs or what are they called?
yeah,
Whatever.
VPNs.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
So um,
I think you can watch it on YouTube, and he goes into the US too, and it's really, really good. So hopefully you can watch it.
yeah, no,
Yeah,
awesome.
I'll check it out before this episode comes out, and I'll provide links if we can. I'll provide links somehow. We have Canadian listeners.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
There are 7% of you who are coming in from
Yes,
Canada.
yes. We probably have a high proportion of Canadian listeners, because we,
Yeah.
we we get this Canadian content.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
I was reading your book and I saw some names that I recognize, I mean from the Cannings. I remember George Clulo. He came
Yeah.
up there, but John Reynolds,
Mhm.
John, and I assume it's John Reynolds who studies salmon, works with salmon. Is that right?
Yes, that's him.
Well, I used to be his um lab assistant. when
Oh
he was
wow.
doing his PhD, and I was, sort of starting. I was my second year in university, and they hired me to go and clean his tanks, all this fish tank. I was then we would talk nature. He's such a neat guy,
He is,
smart,
yeah.
smart
Yeah.
too. Just it's great that he wound up out in the West with salmon. So that's awesome.
Yeah, and he was the head of Kosiwik for a long time, and he helped me with my Purple Martin boxes, setting them up. He's a really great friend of mine. So yeah, and a great birder. He's really into iNaturalist.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
No, say hello. Yeah,
I
and
will.
Kasiwik is, I guess for the Americans, is sort of like the conservation arm of the sort of yeah. Tell us, Melissa, what is Kasiwik for
Well, they're
the American?
like, yeah, it's the Committee on the Status of Endangered Wildlife in Canada, and they're like an independent advisory panel to the federal government. They give recommendations on the status of endangered birds and wildlife. And then the government takes those recommendations and changes the status under the Species at Risk Act. And yeah, so it's he's really smart and a really good person.
Yeah, no, cool. It was nice to see the, people that I know, but I'm sure that everybody is new and different in Vancouver birding now. And it's too bad I didn't have a car. I would have
Yeah.
really done a lot more birding.
Well, you found some great stuff when you were here, though, like
Yeah,
Siberian Center and
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. That was still my best find ever,
Oh,
even though I
really?
didn't get a photograph. But yeah, I
Yeah.
think
Wow.
people finally believed me when another one showed up like 2 weeks later that everybody photographed, and then I described this call
Yeah.
that was, and then they were like thinking at that point in time, well, he couldn't have made that up. He couldn't have even known what they call like. And apparently they reached out to a Russian guy and said, "Oh yeah, that sounds like what the call sounds like." So it was
Oh,
sort of
wow.
it was weird because I didn't have any documentation other than a drawing I made. So,
Yeah.
but I think people eventually believed it.
I
So
think
that
so.
was fine. I've never seen one again. So that's one of
Oh,
my most
really?
wanted birds to see again one day somewhere,
Wow.
Siberian accentor. So
Yeah, we did
cool
have
name
one
too.
here late a
Yeah.
few years ago, and everybody got to see it, so that was really great. In
Yeah.
Surrey, George Clulo actually found that one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh. At the time, it seemed crazy, like that's impossible. But
Yeah.
kind of like that blue rock thrush that showed up in BC like eons ago, and nobody really bought it as a wild bird. Now these show up in Oregon and
Oregon.
California, and
Yeah.
now everybody's like, "Hey, how about that BC bird?" So,
Yeah, exactly.
interesting stuff.
Yeah. So, and Melissa, you also work as a biologist, right? I've seen in your bios and like a little bit that you also work with fish or you also work with salmon,
Yeah.
but that's, I guess, a whole another facet of your life, right?
Yeah, birds are just my absolute passion, so my hobby. But it feels like a full-time job because I'm running the bird alert and
I believe it.
guiding, and,
Yeah.
and so as you probably know as well, it feels like it takes over, but
Except it is
it's
my full-time job, so
right.
that helps a little bit.
Oh,
But
that's
yeah,
good.
so you're currently doing work with salmon?
Yes, stocks, salmon, stock assessment. That's what I do for where I work, because we have endangered salmon here, so sockeye and Chinook. So it's really nice to be outside a lot in nature while working, and you can hear birds and so yeah, I'm passionate about both things, but definitely birds are my everything.
Yeah, here in California for the second season in a row, they're not allowing anybody to catch any salmon. Um,
Right.
yeah, it's sort of never happened before, but they're hoping that the next group is going to be a big one because we've had so much rain.
Yeah.
As you know here, water really makes a difference whether we have a
Hmm.
dry year or a wet year if you're going to get a
Yeah,
good salmon population.
for sure.
Yeah,
And sometimes you have to close the fisheries so that you can let the population rebound a little bit.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's a tough thing though, because a lot of people depend on fisheries. So it's it's
exactly.
it's it's not an easy thing.
Yeah, the boat payments still have to be made, right,
Yeah.
by
Yeah.
the fishing folks. But yeah,
Yeah.
um, would what is your favorite spot to go birding in BC or in the Vancouver area, maybe specifically?
Yeah, that's a hard one, but I think I would say Boundary Bay because, in the shorebird season, because you just never know what you're going to see, and a rare bird could come anytime. It's just exciting to look through the flocks of different shorebirds. That's probably my favorite thing. And then in the winter, even Boundary Bay special because you got lots of raptors, owls, and yeah, so that's probably my favorite place.
Yeah, it's a great spot. I remember there were a lot of different access points, and you could sort of walk with your telescope and kind of find where the shorebirds were and give
Yeah.
them a good. Yeah, and I remember finding one of those bar-tailed godwits one time, barwits as you call them,
Yeah.
that one time at least once, and I was so excited. I mean, to me, like coming from
Yeah.
Ontario, where none of that Asian sort of vagrant stuff ever happens, I thought this is like magic, and I was
Yeah.
hooked on the West.
It is magic. The bar-tailed godwits used to be a lot more rare over here, and now they're coming basically annual, which is really interesting. So,
Huh.
yeah, it's exciting. And we've had a lot of curlew sandpipers, and yeah, it's
Wow.
a great place.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
And lots of waterfowl too.
Lots of
And
waterfowl, especially in the winter.
yeah,
All the ducks, it's amazing to see.
and I think isn't Boundary Bay is one of the places where that gray-bellied brant population partially winters, right? There's a spot in Washington, and then I guess it's Boundary Bay. I don't know. I don't remember, but
It's
yeah.
pretty rare in Boundary Bay to see
Oh,
them. Yeah.
okay. So it's not
But you
not
you can see them occasionally, but they're pretty rare.
yeah.
Yeah. We don't
That's
have like a big wintering population here.
right. Okay. So it's just Washington for the most part
Washington.
then.
Yeah.
Cool.
You're making a case for this as a birding destination year round.
It is,
A big
Molly.
promo. Oh, it
Yeah.
sounds like it.
You you'll find it funny, Melissa, but here in California, birders don't go out if it's raining.
I believe it.
You stay home. You're like, and the field trips are canceled. It's like
Yeah.
canceled due to rain. What would you do in Vancouver if
Oh,
you couldn't?
you would never go out. It's pouring here 90% of the time, so you would never go out. But I've been in California when it's raining and I've heard the radio reports and it sounds like they're so panicked.
Yeah, nobody can drive.
Nobody can drive.
It's like, it's like rain's coming. Hide your children.
Yes, it's really true. But yeah, you honestly wouldn't be able to bird in Seattle or Vancouver if you didn't handle the rain because we get rained on all the time.
Yeah.
One of the things I thought was incredible, it's how different the rainfall is depending on where you are in the
Mhm.
Vancouver area, like closer to the mountains. They get like twice,
Twice as
almost
much.
as much
Yes.
as like towards Point Roberts. And I was like,
Yeah.
wow, like that's huge,
Yep. Yep. Because of the rain shadow of the mountains.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's true. The North Shore gets it way worse than we do down here.
Oh, wow. Well, so, hopefully that doesn't, you know, mean you're not going to go up there, Molly, because of the rain, but it's
No,
usually
no.
light. It's usually light rain, it's kind of like manageable rain. Like people
Yeah.
don't even have umbrellas. Like you sort of have kind of a rain jacket that you have all the time, but I never saw Vancouverites using umbrellas much.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's
I
maybe
think
it's a
they use them
thing
a
that's.
lot.
I think maybe that's changed. It used to be just like Gore-Tex jackets, like it was
Yeah.
I don't know,
Yeah.
but
There's lots of umbrellas now.
okay, it's changed. Things have,
Yes.
Do you all bird with an umbrella? That is something I've never managed to do.
I
Or
find it
wanted.
really hard. I just
Me
usually get
too.
I just have to just use a rain jacket because it's so hard to balance the umbrella. But sometimes when I'm scoping, I do hold the umbrella
That makes
because
sense.
because it's so awful getting rained on when you're scoping. But I don't know. I find that it usually doesn't work out very well with an umbrella.
on tours, I balance my scope like when I'm walking with my scope and tripod. I can balance that on my shoulder, hold the umbrella on the left hand, and be able to bird with my right hand, and it all works. Like it's
Oh
all like
wow,
balanced.
you're
I,
very
I should do a
coordinated.
video. I should do a video of how you do this. It's like
Yes, this is a
Yes.
how-to
the
video.
how-to. Yeah, I have a friend too that balances his scope perfectly, so he can basically take his hand off the the scope and tripod, and it's perfectly balanced, and then it just,
Yeah.
but that's scary to me because it's suddenly whoop, the scope falls, but
Yeah.
because I'm more of
I
a
used to
klutz than
do
my
that a
friend.
bit more, but now I have my extra compact tripod that's thrown my whole balance off. Although my scope has gotten smaller too. It's just a change.
Oh,
Yeah,
So
really?
I have to relearn.
yeah.
You throw that together with a camera or even a dog,
Yeah, that's a lot.
it gets very difficult.
Yeah,
Oh,
I have a hard time when we have like 3 dogs that I walk, and if I
do
have
you
them all
really?
on the leash, there's two little dogs and a big dog, but
Yeah.
if they're excited, I can't, and it's usually happens when a bird that I want to look at happens, and they're moving me around, and I can't
Mm-hmm.
focus, and the whole thing, and I sometimes have to step on the leashes so I can have,
Mm-hmm.
to sort of to keep them under control so I can look at the birds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's
Teach
it's
them
good
to
when you
ground
step
tie.
on, yeah, if you step on the leash, then you can look with both hands and
Yeah. Yeah. So these
Yeah.
are all life hacks, It's like birding with
yes.
dog, scopes,
Yep.
umbrellas.
Makes it
What
fun.
Yeah, what
Important
other
things.
things does one have to? I mean, there's so much equipment sometimes on tours, right?
Oh, it's a
Yeah.
pain. Uh,
Flashlights and
Well, particularly at night is even more challenging because then you have a flashlight and a headlamp, maybe a thermal scope. Everything can get lost more easily. It drives me nuts to head out at night. It's fun, but it's difficult.
Wow, you have a thermal scope for your tours?
I have a thermal scope that I don't really use on tours.
Oh,
And I might change my thermal scope eventually to better accommodate because I use it personally a lot, or if
right.
I'm out with friends, it is really, really hard. The one I have, the Axion, Pulsar Axion, doesn't connect to a smartphone or anything. So this is
Mhm.
basically me looking at something in the dark that nobody else can see. And
yeah,
it's kind of hard to
yeah.
hand off. I
Yeah,
haven't figured out how to make that work.
right.
Do you have the issue also with the screen is so bright that you take it down and then
Yes.
your eyes are all like messed up and you can't see at night? Yeah.
Yes. And it terrifies me.
Yeah.
It's a horrible feeling. I have eye issues anyway. Yeah, it
Oh no.
causes a ton of eye strain. But I've had that for actually a couple years now, and there are so many thermal scopes that are so much better that I would like to upgrade to one that has a more comfortable eyepiece and that can be connected to a smartphone or something like that. And then I think it's a new ball game to share it with
Yeah.
other folks.
Right.
Yeah, the the little lens that I've been using that connects to your phone, it's really
Yep.
nice for that because you're just using your phone as the screen and it's not really bright. But
Yeah.
I still have to use it more. I'm not quite there yet to know how to
Yeah.
use all this stuff.
It's
But
wonderful. It's a gadget.
yeah,
It's cool. Particularly in the winter time, I was going out at night a lot and just kind of driving back roads around here and looking at mammals, and that's a lot of fun. It's cool to
yeah,
find sleeping birds, but then I get out of the habit. Now I'm up too early to also stay up after dark.
yeah. Go, go, go.
Yeah.
So I gotta, before we go,
Yeah.
Melissa, what like this, just make it up if you have to. What would you think would be one of the most likely new species to be added to the British Columbia list if you had to sort of pick one or two or something? You have anything in mind that you're always kind of thinking in the back of your head could show up?
Oh, there's so many, but I would love a Eurasian dotterel to show
Oh,
up.
wow.
You were ready.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's just the one I want the most. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
and Washington has had it, so I think it's in the realm of possibilities. I mean, you
Yeah.
got a 10 extinct.
Yeah.
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 But
I mean,
really anything could show up.
I know. I mean, way back there was a spoon-billed sandpiper. A lot of people may
Yes.
not know that. That's like maybe the most famous rarity
Yes.
ever in the West Coast.
In the 70s at Iona, Inner
Yeah,
Pond.
yeah.
S-
So,
Sadly, we can't go in there anymore.
oh,
But
really?
yeah,
Oh,
they've
Oh,
closed them
wow.
off. They're not open anymore.
oh, that sucks.
Yeah, and they're getting rid of all the inner sewage ponds because they're building a new sewage plant, so they're going to be gone. So yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
That's sad.
I don't know
Oh
if a
well,
spoonbill sandpiper will ever happen again, though.
right. And they're so much
Yeah.
rarer now than they used to be. But
Yeah, that
Mm.
was amazing, though.
yeah, I've seen the
Uh,
photos. It's no
yeah, me
doubt.
too. Yes.
Melissa, I
Yeah.
have one more question for you before
Sure.
we go. So, you founded what is probably one of the most robust and active young birders programs that exist,
Mhm.
period. And it's also for young birders aged 11 to 18. And that is a really wide age range to entertain and inspire
Mhm.
for birds. I would love to hear any insights that you have on how to make a young birders program, particularly for that age range, so successful.
Yeah, well, I think I just started seeing all these young birders birding alone, and I thought, let me get them together and see if they wanted to come out and do field trips with me, and they did, and they were so keen. So I just started this program where I take the birders out, the young birders out to go to places where they don't normally go, like taking them on pelagics out of Tofino and
Oh,
overnight
yeah.
over yeah, we did one last year. Overnight trips camping up in the Okanagan where they see a lot of different grassland birds that they wouldn't see down here, like sage thrashers and things like that, flammulated owls that they wouldn't see where they homes are. But we have birders from across the province, young birders, so from the interior, even the Kootenays, Vancouver Island, the Fraser Valley, Vancouver. And I think it's really important that if you're starting this program, that you treat them, everybody with respect. You're very welcoming. You don't talk down to children, talk to them at their level, make them feel like their points and what their questions are not, that they're interesting and valuable, and let them know just how much them being into conservation and into birds matters to help make the planet a better place. And they've inspired me so much. Like they've taught me so much. So you get a benefit when you're mentoring young people because you get so much back. Like I get so much back for volunteering with them. They just enrich your life. They make everything more beautiful, and they make you more passionate about birding because you see how passionate these young people are. Many of them who've gone through my program now, with my first group in 2014, they're now graduated from university, working as biologists or in
Hmm.
Wow.
conservation work. And that's so wonderful to see. And many of them who didn't
Yeah.
even know each other when they started are like best friends now, still traveling together. They go traveling and birding together. They still want to bird with me, even though I'm like old now and they want to come out and bird with me still as adults. So I stay in touch with all of them. They're just wonderful people, and um, they just give you a lot of purpose, and it just makes you feel like, wow, I really want to protect these birds because these kids care so much about them. And yeah, so just if I think it's if you can mentor youth and start a young birders program, I really recommend people do that because it's going to enrich your life and enrich the planet because you're going to have all this group of people that are going to be passionate when they get older to come and protect those birds and work for them. And so it's a win-win.
Yeah. No, definitely. I was actually part of a young birders group in Toronto when I was a kid,
Oh wow.
and it doesn't exist anymore. It was the
Mm,
field naturalists used to have a youth program, the junior field naturalists they were called. But
that's cool.
yeah, and it was great because you suddenly weren't a weirdo.
Hmm.
It's like
Yeah.
looking at birds, and all the rest of the kids were right there with you rather
Yeah.
than thinking like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
Which
it's really
happens.
great. It's nice to bring together kids with like-minded passions. So, and yeah, it's great. Really
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, I guess you put together a community, make it feel welcome,
Yeah.
and do really cool things, and that's a
Yeah.
successful program.
I think it's really important that you have engaging field trips that they're going to like. So taking them out to places that they don't always go to. Of course, you do local trips too, but trying to get them to see birds they've never seen before is also really
Oh,
exciting
yeah.
for these young
Yeah.
kids, right? And they get to go on field trips where they're away from parents and get to just be with each other and see new
Yeah.
places, new cities,
I was going
things
to
like that.
ask if you allow parents or would rather have just the kids in
No
a sense.
parents.
No parents
No,
allowed.
no,
Oh, that's cool
it's
too.
That's
because
good.
the youth like to have their own time, without the parents on them all the time. So it's really important, I think, to have them separated from their parents on these trips so they can
Right.
be themselves and feel, get a break from that from their parents too. and
Yeah.
their parents from them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
It's really meant
Well,
for youth to connect with each other.
Right.
mm-hmm,
That's cool. That sounds
absolutely.
great, actually. Really good.
Yeah. Melissa, we have all sorts of things to share in our show notes. We've got a link to your book that will be out by the time this book or this episode comes out, a link to your extensive blog, a link to BC Young Birders program. Is there anything else that you would like folks to know about or that you want us to share?
Well, you can share the link to my BC Rare Bird Alert if people want to see what rare
That's
birds
right.
are in the province. But I
Yeah.
think that's good.
Perfect. Well, Melissa, thank you so, so much for being with us today and chatting about all these things. I am so thankful for people like you who blend together science and art and listing and slow birding and all the beauty that comes with it. So thank you for all that you do for the birding community.
Well, thank you so
Yes,
much, Molly.
exactly. And I've heard a lot of people describe you as an inspiration, and I think it's clear why. With the type of work
Yeah.
you're doing is amazing. So thank you for what you're contributing to not only birding but to the world. Thanks.
Oh, thank you, Alvaro. I'm so touched. It was a real pleasure to talk to you both.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, folks. With that, we will see you next time on Life List.
Bye bye.